Hey everybody, Matthew Solomon here, and I'm continuing on today with relationships and communication, and today's topic is where are you in your communication? For those of you who don't know me, I'm a coach. I coach you on whatever it is that you want to have, achieve, create, experience in your life. I'm also an award-winning filmmaker here in Los Angeles. Coach people one-on-one. I also have a group coaching program coming up called End the Shit Show That Communication Has Become. And you can check all of that out on my website, coachwithmatthewsolomon.com. Where are you in your communication? Now, I've spent time previously talking about, we all just want to feel heard, understood, and loved. And when we interact with other people, whether it's on a job or romantically, on a date, in a marriage or whatever, to the extent that we can get that there's a human being in front of us that just wants to feel heard, understood, and loved, we can speak into that. We can effectively communicate with that. I did a video last week on listening. Effective listening is hearing what the person has to say, really getting what their experience, their feelings, their desires were with whatever happened, and getting what they were committed to. What was it that they really were committed to having happen that didn't happen, and that's why they're frustrated. So a lot of that deals with how we're interacting with another person. But let's look at ourselves. How are you showing up in the communication? Do you get that you are a person that just wants to feel heard, understood, and loved? And maybe you do get that, but you're looking for the other person to provide that for you. And when you're doing that, that's when you start to run into problems, because it becomes all about, like, what can I get out of this? Why don't you understand me? I need you to understand me. I need you to just know, like, what I'm dealing with. I need you to just know what I want and need. And any of us that have been in relationships know that when we go down that road, it doesn't go well. And I've been on the giving and receiving end of that, and it doesn't go well. What does go well is when I'm in a conversation or an interaction and I get, triggered or upset or something, and I can stop and say, hang on a second, I'm feeling upset. I had something come up. Let me look at what that is. And when I can communicate from a place of, you know what, this is me, give me a minute here, let's talk this out, then there's a whole world of communication that opens up, because the other person isn't on the defensive. You're not pointing fingers. It's you know what? Hang on a second. Let me see what I got going on, right? So I want to feel heard, understood, and loved. I have a past. I have years and years and years and years of stuff that's happened to me that I've interpreted to mean certain things that will trigger me on the drop of a hat. And to the extent that I recognize that and can catch it, I can diffuse, any sort of argument or disagreement or anything like that. So, where are you in your communication? Are you aware of your physical responses? Like, do you feel your chest tighten? Do you feel open? Do you feel are you, like, on the defensive? Are you aggravated? Are you nervous? Like, is your knee shaking? Right? Those are all indicators. And then if that stuff's happening, can you stop and be responsible for yourself enough to say, you know what? Hang on. I'm dealing with something here, and this doesn't quite feel right. So let's just talk this out. And when you talk it out, you're coming from a place of, I'm reacting to this because of this, this, and this. Not, you made me feel this way. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I invite you to look at when you're interacting with people on Facebook. That's great practice ground, because you're not actually talking to somebody. You could, when these debates go on and people say all kinds of messed up stuff, you don't have to respond right away. You can stop. I've done this a lot, where instead of just firing back a response, it's like, all right, let me sit on this for a minute. Let me process, like, what's going on, and then I'll respond. and it has a way better chance of working out when I'm doing that. So I think Facebook and texting, while it's not actual, like, it is communication actually. I mean, a lot of people say it's not real communication, but I think there, you can misinterpret things, but it also gives you a chance to stop and process and think before you respond. It's when you're firing back and firing back and firing back that things get all messed up. So, what are you bringing to the table? Where are you in your communication? These are all things that we're going to look at in my 5-week program coming up. These are all things I'm very masterful with in one-on-one coaching is finding the stuff that you're reacting to, that the stuff that you want that's not showing up, and why isn't that showing up, and all of that. So I invite you to visit my website, coachwithmatthewsolomon.com. Thank you so much for watching. Do something nice for yourself today. Thanks.